looky what we have here. Just a guy on his third day, no Kratom. Yeah, that's me. What's up, guys? First thing in the morning, so I don't know how excitable I'm going to be in this video. I've had a few sips of coffee. So as you guys know, a lot of you, I jumped this past weekend. And by jumping, I mean from 1 gram of Kratom to completely off of Kratom. Yep, did that this past weekend. My last day taking Kratom was this past Friday. It is now Monday morning. How have I felt? Those are the things that people want to know about stuff like this. Anybody who just might happen across my channel, they probably have searched up Kratom or Kratom withdrawal for a reason, right? Possibly jumping off of Kratom or abruptly stopping. So for me, I did about a 6-week taper. There were times where I was more aggressive than others on the taper, and I had to kind of slow my roll a little bit, move it back up, establish a baseline, because you're supposed to taper, then stabilize, taper, then stabilize, taper, then give your body a few days to stabilize and adjust to the new lower amount. I did that for the most part, except for certain times where I got too aggressive. I dropped too much in too short a period of time. And then at night, especially, I started having some withdrawals. So I ended up going, you know what? This shit ain't gonna work. So I ended up going back up maybe a half gram, a gram, whatever the case may have been. I talked about it on the channel. I start cutting out my doses based on when I take them in the morning. Like, by example, if I use Kratom 4 times a day, well, I did use Kratom 4 times a day. I had my morning dose, I had my noon or lunchtime dose, as I called it. I had my evening dose when I first got home at night, and then I had the dose that I took right around bedtime. This is when I was using. So what I did was I started cutting down my morning time dose first, because I felt like that was the easiest to deal with. Then I started cutting down my noon time dose. Then I skipped over my evening dose, just because that's just the way I thought. The way I thought to myself is, I want to maintain being able to feel that high as long as I possibly can. And if I save my bedtime dose for that, the bedtime dose, I'm just taking it to kind of help me sleep through, to stave off any withdrawals. I'm not feeling any buzz from Kratom when I'm in there sleeping, right? That just is damage control. Taking it at night like that during the taper, that's all that is, damage control, because you know that you're going to go into withdrawal if you don't have any Kratom in your system, right? And Kratom is a fast-acting plant. It's a fast-acting substance. So it goes in, it works fast, but it doesn't stay all that long. And you can attest to this. That's one of the reasons people work up to these such high amounts, because especially once your tolerance increases, you get to a point where you take that shit, and an hour later you're like, well, damn, I kind of feel like I need some more. My buzz is gone. That's one of the reasons people work their way up to these insane amounts that you hear, 80, 100, 150 grams a day. I mean, I've heard people get way up there. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. That's a sidebar conversation. But so after I cut out my noon dose, I started cutting out my nighttime dose third. Okay? Once my nighttime dose was completely gone, at that point I was on, basically a couple of grams a day, 2 grams a day. And that's when I stayed on that for a few days, where I just was taking it once a day. And that's when I got home in the afternoon at 5:30, maybe 6, after I showered, whatever. I would take it. Did that for a few days, stabilized on that, and then dropped it down to 1 gram for 2 days. So I took 1 gram on Thursday and 1 gram on Friday of last week. And Friday was my last day. I personally haven't had a lot of issues. I personally actually was able to get some sleep. I personally have not had a lot of physical withdrawals other than just some cravings, a few cravings during the day and stuff like that. But again, you know, I also went and I jogged 5.5 miles out in the hot sun yesterday. You know, I got that bit of angst out. And I've just been slowly tapering and slowly stabilizing to prepare for this time that I actually jumped. And now my body's not bitching at me too bad, right? Because I wasn't taking much anyway. For quite a while there, I was only taking, you know, a couple of grams, and 2.5 grams. I was taking 3 grams, 4 grams. You know, I've been 5 grams or below for probably two or 3 weeks now. You know, so it's been quite a slow, steady kind of work down for me, which is why I'm not really, you know, having a lot of the issues. Like I said, I did take a couple of like some little THC gummies that I bought a couple of weeks ago because I knew I was getting down to the lower amounts of that taper. I don't do that anymore. That's not something I do. Definitely through smoke inhalation. I don't like the smoke aspect of it. I don't have anything against THC, you know, or anything, or the gummies that they make, or the little, you know, supplements, all the little things they have in the head shops. It is not my first choice of what I would rather do, but I would rather nibble on one of those. And by nibble on it, I mean literally, I'm like nibbling little bit. I'm almost like microdosing on it during these first few days, just trying to, like, you know, just trying to take my mind out of, you know, being without Kratom, wanting the Kratom, craving it, which I haven't had a whole lot of it, but I'm looking for it. I'm watching for it. And you know, I'm no spring chicken. I've been through this enough times now where I'm watching for the cravings. I know they're coming. They always do. And I was talking, and I'll kind of end on this. That's a perfect segue. I was talking to one of my subscribers the other day. I won't mention their name because I don't know how they feel about that. But we were just talking about, you know, the fact that I'm off now. That's great, but now watch for the cravings, and that sometimes the cravings come at the most surprising, inopportune times. And what we meant by that was, a lot of times you would think that oh, you're sitting there, you're feeling bad, you're feeling horrible, you're feeling down. Oh God, I just can't take this. I gotta take some freaking Kratom. I gotta do it. I just can't stand it. You would think that's how it works, and it may for some people, but for me, inevitably, the bigger trigger for me is when I'm feeling good. You know, when I'm only a day, 2 days, 3 days, or a week off of it, and I've done a taper, and my body's starting to feel healthy, and like I'm starting to feel pretty good, you know, and my mindset, I'll start to have moments of like, yeah, I can do this. I can do this. Look, because then what happens is when you're not taking Kratom, and then you start to have those moments where you feel good, the addict brain, something switches in your brain, and you start having this inner speech of, see, I'm not taking it, and I feel pretty good. It really ain't that big of a deal. You know, wasn't even that much of a problem to come off of it. I mean, I'm already bouncing back. You know, or here's a good one. Well, hell, I mean, if I got over it that quick and I'm feeling good already, I mean, I must have never had a problem with it in the first place. I just thought I did. I'm just believing those bullshit people online who were telling me that I had a problem, you know, with the amounts that I was taking. Apparently, the 25, 30 grams a day for me wasn't a problem. You know, you start bargaining in your head and in your brain about this stuff, and it's just very interesting how the addicted mind works. But for me personally, the triggers and the red flags that I have to personally watch out for have to do with when I start feeling good, and if I can proclaim that, really it's actually not that bad. I'm actually feeling pretty good today. My spirits, have been okay. Been exercising, get some natural dopamine, eating right, so my energy's good, my body feels, it's when I get to that point that my mind, that pig, that addiction pig really starts, watch out for the demonstration. But it really does. It starts doing that. It starts hitting me hard when I'm feeling good, right? Because when I'm feeling down and I'm depressed and I've done like a cold turkey or something like that, and I'm completely just getting my ass whipped by withdrawals and post-acute withdrawals and depression and low mood and low energy, and I'm just getting my ass kicked by all those different things, that's when I sit there and look at it and go, now see, fucking Kratom did this to you. You know how you feel right now? You feel how you feel right now? That's Kratom that did that to you. You can't use that shit. That did this shit to you, right? And I start thinking that. So then my thought process is, nah, I ain't never taking that shit again. Never. So, and I think it just depends on the person. Depends on the person, because I think some people are triggered by the down, depressed feelings. I'm not doing, I just can't stand how bad I feel and how dope sick I feel, so I just have to take more. Whereas other people, I think when they feel that way, it's the opposite effect. It's like I feel, Kratom's what did this shit to you. Can't touch Kratom anymore, because if you do, you're going to end up like you feel now again later. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, we were talking about that yesterday, and she was letting me know to watch out for the cravings, or they can come, when completely unexpectedly. And that's absolutely true. They can come completely unexpectedly. But I do find it interesting that I know for a lot of people, it's those times when shit gets really hard that they start wanting to use again. For me, it's quite the inverse of that, and I can't really explain why that is. But if I'm feeling good and I start feeling content with where everything's headed, that's where it can get dicey for me. And that's where I easily and quickly, get back to a point where I'm having that conversation with myself. Well, dude, you could probably use again. Can't do that this time. Can't do that this time. Not doing that this time. So I appreciate all you guys who've stuck with me through it and have encouraged me. I'm there finally. The journey is just beginning. I've admitted it, that I can't take something like Kratom. I've gotten off of it. And now the hard part begins. The daily grind without it. Learning to live a new life without it. And that's the biggest part. But it is true that it takes anywhere from 21 to 28 days to form a new habit. Right? One of the human's biggest superpowers is to be able to adapt. People adapt to living in prisons in third world countries. The human mind and the human brain has the ability to adapt. So you're telling me you can adapt? You're telling me I can adapt to a new lifestyle of not shoving green powder down my throat 4 times a day? I think I can manage it. Don't mistake that for arrogance. Don't mistake that for... You okay? Sorry, guys. Don't mistake that for arrogance, and don't mistake that for lost my train of thought because you guys failed. Damn it. In me saying that, do not take that for arrogance or ignorance. You know, that I don't know what I'm facing, and that I don't understand there are going to be times for temptations and where things are going to trigger me, or places that I might go might trigger me. It's just that this time I'm just going to tell myself no, because I know better and I know where it's going to end up. I'm not saying that I'll forever be 100% abstinent from all mind-altering substances. I'm not going to say that. But I know one thing that I can't take. I know one thing that a lot of you guys can't take. So, all right, I got to go. I'm almost at work, and I need to drink some more of this coffee before it gets cold on me. So, love you guys. Have a good day.